Mega superstar.
Global superstar.
Chris Hemsworth. I'm obviously always trying to improve my physique. Yeah. What is it that you're doing on a regular basis?
Well, I mean, you look incredible.
No, go on.
So, well, I was going to ask you the same question.
Plus, Tyra Banks and a performance by Fitz and the Tantrums.
Weekdays at 9 a.m.
You took my father. Somebody's going to pay for this.
There's no story more surprising than a real-life Dateline mystery.
Probably a pretty ugly crime scene.
Follow every twist and turn 5 times a week.
The chase is on.
With Dateline. Weekdays at 1 p.m. You're watching WDAY Extra. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Is
Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Dom Izzo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's a hot one out there today. I started sweating as soon as I walked outside. Wear your sunscreen, drink your water today, stay hydrated. 2 most important things to do. I hope everyone's having a great start to their Tuesday. I'm a little bit tired today. I want to give a shout out to my coworker, Lori Becker. She brought me coffee this morning. She knows that I am not really a morning person. And I've been doing this show for almost the past week. And I showed up and there was a coffee on my table, on my desk. So shout out to Lori. You're the GOAT for bringing me this. I really appreciate it. I actually have a bone to pick with North Dakota. Last night, I was hanging out with my friend Rachel, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I was getting really tired. I've been getting really tired recently, around earlier. So for those of you that don't know me, I normally go to bed at like midnight, 1 in the morning. That's just how I operate. But recently, I've been going to bed at or trying to go to bed at like 8:30, 9:30. I've just been getting so tired. But it is so sunny outside at 9 o'clock. I was trying to go to sleep and I was like, it is so bright in my room. What is going on? I don't know how the people who have kids out there get them to go to bed before 11. Can you even get them to go to bed? Because that's just so weird to me that you're trying to go to sleep when it's still light outside. I don't know how I feel about that. My sister, though, she lives in Alaska right now. And where she's at, it's literally sunny pretty much 24/7. She says that it's impossible to sleep. They have to use 2 pairs of blackout curtains to try and go to sleep. It's crazy. And I was trying to explain it to my family and friends at home. They're like, Logan, you're just being dramatic. I'm like, no, it is seriously so bright out here, so late. And I said, if you ever come and visit me, you would know. But they told me they never want to come, which is sad. North Dakota's cool. I try and tell them. Maybe one day they'll get out here and get to experience it for themselves. But I will say, this is a hard place to get to from home, and it's an expensive place to get to at home. So I don't really blame them there. Okay, so we ended the show yesterday talking about Jell-O shots. And I'm so glad we did, because I don't know if you've been seeing this all over social media, but this is probably one of the biggest things that's been being talking, oh my gosh, happy Tuesday, talked about at the College World Series. The College World Series Jell-O Shot Challenge. So when we left it off yesterday, well, let me explain this really fast. What it is that this bar called Rocco's down in Omaha keeps track of every team down there and how many Jell-O shots are bought for that team. So the fans going there will buy a shot and say, oh, I'm supporting this team. And they'll put they'll add the numbers up. So when we left off yesterday, LSU was blowing everyone out of the water with 12,836 Jell-O shots. This is what it was yesterday when we left off the show at, 11 a.m. Central Time? UVA, I said it yesterday. What are you doing? Embarrassing the state of Virginia. And I said it yesterday. UVA is the lamest out of the big three in Virginia. Don't know how to party. Okay, so fast forward to... Let me move this over here. They sent out a tweet saying that LSU baseball is starting to slow up a little bit. I guess someone took that to heart, and that someone is the CEO of Cane's, the chicken chain restaurant. And he said, nah, I got this. He set a record down in Omaha. Set the record for LSU for all-time team total, all-time overall total, Guinness Book of World Record for shots purchased by one person. 21,435 Jell-O shots. I did the math. Yep. 6,000 Jell-O shots. 6,000 Jell-O shots. Okay, my question is, were all 6,000 of those taken within the next hour of people being there? Because that's also impressive if they all were eaten, taken. Do you eat the Jell-O shots? What would be the correct term? You take them? I chew them, so I kind of eat them. I know that's gross. But that's a lot. I would just love to experience one day down in Omaha, especially at this bar. I think that'd be so fun. And like I said, we've gotten so lucky with these games, and the drama continued yesterday. We'll recap what happened yesterday in the College World Series. Okay, so the first game of the day was... Who was it? Tennessee and Stanford. Again, all tied out. All these games have been really close. So we'll go to the fifth inning. Tennessee puts up 4 runs in this inning to take the lead. They were down 4-2. Or 4-0, actually. Able to tie it up. Then here's what really saved them. Chase Burns coming into this game. He came in relief of Chase Dolander and pitched 6 scoreless innings for the Volunteers, officially eliminating Stanford. That is so impressive. And Tennessee ended a 6-game College World Series losing streak dating back to 2001. 6 scoreless innings? I'm very curious to hear how his arm is feeling today, because I don't think I'd be able to move it if I was him. So that was the first game. Then the second game was Wake Forest and LSU. Another great game. So Wake Forest ends up going down. The sun, I don't know if you guys saw the memes today about the sun. First of all, there's a thing called sunglasses that you could wear. Just saying. So botch that one. They go down 2-0. But where things really get exciting is in the 6th inning. And it all comes with Bennett Lee I'm waiting for the highlights to get up there. I don't know if it happened in the 6th inning, actually. Like I was saying, I was trying to fall asleep at this point. All right, no, it comes in the 7th, actually. Let's try the 8th, actually. This is what it is. Okay, so he tags it out. Bennett Lee tags him out. Just barely getting him to keep it tied at 2. LSU challenges, doesn't go through. Then Bennett Lee calls the timeout because he was so tired. He said this in the postgame, just needed a break. Then he has the RBI single. Go ahead RBI single. To put Wake Forest out in front. They end up winning. Putting the team on his back. And that is just great game management from that guy's perspective, Bennett Lee's. Calling a timeout because he's tired. He's like, I just need a break. Then he has to go ahead. RBI single. So Wake Forest will play the winner of LSU and Tennessee. LSU did beat Tennessee earlier this tournament. They beat them twice during the regular season. Tennessee beat them once. And I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. When we were doing the Summit League tournament, all the players were saying you'd never want to play the same team twice because it is so much harder to beat them a second time once you lose to them once. But that game is tomorrow. Today, or it's actually later today. Yeah, today's the 20th. And today, TCU and Oral Roberts are playing at 2 p.m. Both of these are elimination games. Both are going to be full of drama, I can only imagine, based off of how this tournament is going. The winner of Oral Roberts and TCU will play at tomorrow. They'll play Florida. Oral Roberts fell short to Florida, 2 days ago. 5-4. Comeback just came a little bit short. I'm pulling for Oral Roberts. I was talking with Rachel yesterday, and she's our weekend sports anchor. And so we've all been watching Oral Roberts, showing them on the news, showing highlights, talking about them on the show. We had the pleasure of getting to cover them and talk with the players and the coaches. I don't know why, but and she was saying the same thing. We both want them to win. We're both pulling for them. So, I don't know. I hope that they can beat TCU again. I hope that they can end up beating Florida. But you got to take it one game at a time. So, today will be an exciting game. That game's at 1 p.m. Eric just told me we have breaking news. Eric, I don't know where you saw this. Pull it up for me, por favor. Side note, did you guys know I took Spanish for 18 years? It does sound hard, but it was worth it. All right, here we go. It is so ironic that this is the breaking news today because I literally was asking Destin Talbert yesterday what was going on with this guy. So I asked him, what's going on with Dawson Weber? I haven't really heard much about him. I know he got invited to rookie camps. Well, breaking news today. North Dakota State standout safety Dawson Weber tells ML Football that the Seattle Sea Dragons of the XFL have claimed his rights, and he'll be signing a contract later this summer once they are official. So now we have 2 former Bison playing for the Seattle Sea Dragons. Good for Dawson. We're going to have to get him on the show. And when we were talking with Destin Talbert yesterday, all he said was that they just wanted to keep playing at any professional level because all it takes is getting one shot. And that one shot can create so many different opportunities for you. We saw it in the XFL, so many players getting called up to the NFL after the season was over. Former JMU quarterback, Ben DiNucci, with the Denver Broncos now. Darius Shepard also getting called up. But that's really exciting that they're both going to be reunited. And the XFL, I think, is really fun to watch. Obviously, the timeline's a little bit different. If you weren't able to catch that interview with me and Destin Talbert yesterday, definitely go take a look because he shares a little bit about the insights about how the XFL works because it's so different from the NFL when it comes to the draft process. Like he said, he didn't even know that he was drafted until he saw his name on a list. So crazy. You can check out that interview on inform.com. I'm going to text Dawson during this break. We'll see if we can get him on because I'm excited to hear how this process has been for him. We got a great show for you guys today, though. Mike McFeely is going to come on at 9:30 in his normal Tuesday slot. The newest NDSU football commit, Will Steil, will come on at 9:15. I was able to catch up with him yesterday. And then NDSU men's basketball newest assistant coach, Luke Strege, will join me at 10 o'clock. And we'll get to know him a little bit. That's what's on tap for today. We're going to take our first break of the show. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and KSFL.
On the next Tamron Hall, it's the book that's been #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list for almost 2 years and published in 43 languages. It Ends With Us is the powerful story about a woman struggling to end the cycle of abuse from the men in her life. And now author and director Justin Baldoni is set to star alongside Blake Lively, bringing the book to the big screen, and why this message of modern masculinity hits close to home for Justin next Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
Road trip? Road trip. Summer's here. Time for a road trip.
In this job, you take your eye off it for 1 second. People can die.
Don't think, just do it.
I'm a firefighter, and I will always be a firefighter. Did a great thing today. It's all because of you.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. and 12:05 a.m.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
for clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way,
because your community
is our community.
Overcoming drug addiction was difficult, but I found the path to recovery that worked for me. Treatment helped me come to terms with the issues in my life that caused me to use drugs. And I found better ways to cope. Learning I had a substance use disorder helped me realize I needed to make a change. The road to recovery is different for everyone. There were good days and bad days. But I found strength in seeking help. My friends and family made a huge difference in my recovery. I never gave up. I found my path, and I keep walking it every day. Find the path that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
911, what is your emergency?
It takes a certain kind of person to run towards danger rather than run away from it.
Why is this job so important to you?
Growing up, I never saw any heroes who looked like me.
And that's what a hero looks like.
Help is on the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
To learn more, please visit eifcares.org.
The Red River Amateur Championship is coming to you live from the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th. All are invited to the course to watch the tournament in person. Follow your favorite golfers or watch on the big screen in the alley with food and beverages available. Can't make it to the course? Watch live all 3 days on WDAY Extra and streaming at Inforum.com. The Red River Amateur Championship live at the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th.
Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Welcome back, everyone. So we have some breaking news this morning. I don't know if you just missed it. Let me turn me up a little bit. Dawson Weber is planning on signing with the XFL with the Seattle Sea Dragons. He'll be joining his former teammate Destin Talbert by the time that season rolls around, which is so exciting. Hopefully we'll be able to hear from him. But NDSU's class of 2024 is continuing to build. Yesterday, they picked up their sixth commit for the class of 2024, Will Steil. He's from Cold Spring, Minnesota. His brother, Jack Steil, plays baseball here at NDSU. Will is a safety. He also plays quarterback. He had offers from Northern Illinois, Northern Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota as a preferred walk-on. So I was able to catch up with him yesterday and just get to know him and figure out why he wanted to come to NDSU out of all the places he heard from. Take a listen. How does it feel to officially say you're going to be a Bison?
It means a lot to me just to join a great program like them. It means the world to me. It's always been my dream.
So it's always been your dream. When did you start thinking, okay, I want to come and play at NDSU?
I've always wanted to go D1. Just like it's always a kid's dream to go D1 and play at the high level. Just over the past few months, I've gotten realistic about what I really want to go. And just like I met with the coach from NDSU and just liked them a lot from day one, and they've been by my side. They gave me that first offer, so it shows how much it meant to me just getting that first one from them. So I knew I wanted to go there from the start.
So you also got offers from North Dakota, South Dakota, and preferred walk-on at Minnesota, and UNI. Obviously, you said them offering you first was important to you, but what else about NDSU made them stand out?
Yeah, their academics really stood out. From what I saw, they had a 3.17 average team GPA, which stood out because a lot of D1 teams aren't like that around here. So that stood out. And then my brother goes there, so that was kind of important to me. And then just the city of Fargo really stood out. I've been there a few times now just to watch baseball. I really liked what I've seen.
I was going to ask you about your brother. How much of an influence did he have in your decision to come to NDSU?
He really stood out. He stood out of the decision-making process. Just let me do what I want. But it's kind of it's cool to be with him. So it was kind of an influence. But I tried leaving him out of this.
When you told him, what did he say?
He was excited for me. Just know we gotta go there together now.
Said you like Fargo. What about Fargo? Because U of M is also right down the street from you. So what about Fargo? Do you like?
Yeah, I like the community. Just they get so many fans to their games, which is important. You want that community to be there and support you. I like the restaurants around there are nice. There's a lot of golfing areas and stuff to do around there. So in my free time, I won't be bored if I'm there.
Mm-hmm. Are you expected to play safety when you get here?
Yeah, their envision for me is to start me at safety, and depending on how I grow, they'll move me to linebacker.
Oh, really? How do you feel about that?
From the start, they've seen me at linebacker, and just over this weekend at camp, they really liked what they saw at safety. So it makes me excited to have the flexibility to go where they need me.
Have any of your teammates reached out yet?
Well, at the camp, I saw Peter Helgo and then Isaiah St. Romain. So I met them a little bit, and they seem like good guys.
That's awesome. And what did your parents say?
They were super excited for me, just knowing this is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. So they're just super happy for me and excited to I'm going somewhere close to home.
Congratulations, Will. We're excited for you, and we're excited to get to know you a little bit better once you get here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Should probably turn my mic on. That is the newest face coming to NDSU football in 2024. Will Steil. The list just keeps growing and growing. Last we heard was Coy Okeson, 6'6", 280-pound lineman. He's the fourth in-state commit, Coy Okeson is, for NDSU. We know that they love the North Dakota linemen. Okeson also had offers from Air Force and Wyoming. Williston's Isaiah St. Romain, who committed on May 3rd. He's expected to play wide receiver at NDSU. Fargo North's Peter Halgo, he committed on May 8th. And Bo Johnson, he's from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. He committed a long time ago. April 3rd, 2022 is when he committed. Which is crazy that he already knew where he wanted to go 2 years in advance. So yeah, NDSU is continuing to build. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw someone else commit this week, especially with all the camps they have coming up. They have another camp this weekend, which is the big indie camp that they have every year. Lots of great players come through these camps. Also, news came out yesterday that UND football's class of 2024 is getting kicked off. They received their first commitment yesterday from Gunnar Lim, 6', 180-pound safety from Nebraska. He had 92 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 14 pass breakups as a junior. He also had more than 600 yards and 3 touchdowns while returning punts and kicks. So, a valuable special teamer for the Fighting Hawks. He also is a starter on the basketball team down in Bennington High School in Nebraska. It's about 15 miles north of Omaha. And he said that he really liked the coaches. He really liked the campus. And he committed after he visited UND up in Grand Forks. Now, what's interesting is that this is the second year in a row that his safety is the first commitment for UND's recruiting class. So I think they have camps coming up too. So I'm sure we'll start to see their class starting to build over these next few weeks. And like I was talking with Sam Herder yesterday, football season is going to be here before we know it, which is just so crazy that we're already close to being done with June. Which is crazy because August is when all the fall camps start. We just hit the ground running. It's football mode until hopefully January. There's no such thing as downtime in the sports world. As much as we want to say that there is not, which I love. Love being busy. But I'm excited to see what this 2024 class for NDSU is going to bring to the table. We're going to get our first glimpse of the class of 2023 in August. Lots of high expectations for them. And fall camp is really where I think we're going to get a lot of these questions answered that we have about NDSU. Sam Herder went over some of them yesterday. I'm sure me and McFeely will dive into some questions that he has about NDSU during this offseason. But like Sam was saying, from a national FCS reporter standpoint, there's the most questions he has about this team than he has ever had about NDSU in recent years. Mostly, a lot of them coming on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary, which is with such a young group that we have, or that NDSU has this season. So hopefully we'll get some answers during fall camp. And I think we're going to see lots of competition, lots of position battles, which we didn't really see last year, but I think this year it's going to be ramped up just a little bit. So August can't get here fast enough. And I'm sure in just a blink of an eye, it'll be football 24/7 here at WDAY and the Forum. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, McFeely will join me in studio. We got lots to talk about with football and Grant Nelson. We'll be back right after this.
Who let the dogs out? Laney's has, and the 2-for-deal special is back. If your furnace and air conditioner are over 10 years old, it's possible they've gone to the dogs. They're more prone to roll over and break down, and they're also a lot less efficient. Let Laney's help you fetch a free air conditioner with their 2-for-deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a qualifying Coleman high-efficiency furnace, you will receive a Coleman air conditioning unit free. Call Laney's for details. The dog days of summer will be here before you know it.
828 is just great.
Hi Fargo, this is Chief Dave Zabalski of the Fargo Police Department, and I'm inviting all of you to our annual Fargo Police Department Community Picnic on Wednesday, June 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. at our new location, Broadway Square in downtown Fargo. Join us for live music, entertainment, fun for all ages. Get to know your officers, even the furry kind, and most importantly, share ideas for how we can continue to improve our community by working together. We hope to see you there on Wednesday, June 21st in Broadway Square.
Doing what you can to survive is certainly a sign of the times. But there's other signs that aren't so easy to see. If you've ever earned money for the use of your body, have been given items in exchange for sexual favors, or worked long, labor-intensive hours for little to no pay, that's a sign you may be a victim of human trafficking. If you in any way have felt exploited, experienced paycheck withholding, or been abused, in an emergency, call 911. Visit ndhttf.org to learn all the signs.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. He asked all his therapists to help him undertake some of the house chores. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Your Midwest came out there broadcasting.
It's my New York. Let's do some broadcasting.
That's supposed to be New York.
Forget about it.
That was pretty good.
Thank
I'll
you.
give you that one.
Thank you.
How are you, McFeely?
I'm doing okay, Campbell.
I was just
Why
saying.
do you call me by my last name? But I don't mind. But it's
McFeely. I don't know. That just feels natural.
Okay, that's
I call
fine.
Colpack.
Okay, all right.
I don't call Dom Izzo though. I just call him Dom. Maybe we get a Dom Izzo.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I just noticed that I'm always McFeely. Like it's
Around
just
here,
fine.
we have another Logan that works here now, so I get called Campbell or Elsie, which I like.
What's Elsie?
Elsie Logan Campbell.
I thought you meant Elsie, like ELSIE.
No. Elsie.
It's like
initials.
Elsie. Yeah, no,
initials.
I thought you meant Elsie, like, and that's
No, that would be a little bit random. I mean, I probably wouldn't correct them and be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay,
we'll just roll with it.
So now your new nickname is Elsie.
Elsie.
Not LC. It's now Elsie.
Elsie. Yeah, I guess we can go. I get Jordan, Morgan, Lindsay. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Jordan. I was Mark for a long time.
Mark?
Everybody called me Mark.
Mark McFeely. That makes sense. It flows.
But it was wrong. But they just.
Did you say
that
anything?
and Kevin. I was called Kevin a lot. Yes.
You do look like a Kevin.
I don't know what that means.
But you
yes,
look like a Kevin.
I was called Kevin like random people who didn't know me. Hey, Kevin. It's like, hey, guy.
I would call you Kevin if I didn't know you.
Okay.
You look like a Kevin.
Okay. All right. I don't know what a Kevin. Apparently,
it looks like you.
Apparently, this is what a Kevin looks like.
It looks like you. I got to ask you because you put out this article this morning or yesterday.
Last night. Yeah.
Last night. I saw it this morning. I've never heard of a pork tenderloin sandwich.
Which is embarrassing for you, by the way.
Why?
Are you not? You're not from here?
No.
You're not one of us?
I'm not one of you guys.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
You're from the highfalutin East Coast or something? Where they
Sure. I've never been like a
nothing but sushi.
I love sushi.
Yeah, sushi's okay.
But I'm just not a big pork eater, if that makes sense.
It does, yes.
So, okay, when did this? I'm gonna call it an obsession with pork tenderloin sandwiches come from.
Well, I can tell the story. It's what I wrote, and I've written a couple times before. Is when I was a kid, growing up in the Twin Cities, we lived in an inner ring suburb of Minneapolis called Crystal, and my dad was a newspaper guy, and he would every once in a while go to this little Greasy Spoon Cafe in a neighboring suburb called New Hope. And it was sometimes after maybe a couple of bumps, a couple of cocktails, and he would stop and get pork tenderloin sandwiches from a place called Sully's, which no longer exists to the best of my knowledge.
And this is a Midwest staple?
Yes, okay. Illinois. It's not a big thing in Minnesota, which is odd. It's a huge thing in Iowa.
Okay.
Huge thing in Indiana. Semi-huge thing in Illinois. But for whatever reason, it has not crept into Minnesota and certainly not North Dakota. And so these pork tenderloin sandwiches, it's if you think of the piece of pork tenderloin, the strap of meat that is the tenderloin, slice it, pound it to kind of flatten it, deep fry it, put it on a bun with onions, mustard, fantastic. It's like a fried sandwich. It's a huge deal. And I mean, Iowa is the king of pork tenderloin country is Iowa, which makes sense because it's Iowa.
Sounds pretty good.
It's fantastic. And so I've been looking for one of these things locally for years.
Okay.
And nobody around here makes them. They're just not a thing. Because you've been here for how many years now in Fargo?
Almost 2.
2 years?
Yep.
And you've never heard of these things, right? And so they just don't make them around here. But I found out this spring that this resort out on Star Lake in Minnesota, the proprietor, Rhonda Bell of Bell's Resort, makes pork tenderloin sandwiches in their little restaurant at the resort. So my wife and I were out in that area on Saturday, and me being the classy guy I am, I mean, why would you not bring your wife on a date to get a pork tenderloin sandwich?
So romantic.
I know. That's just kind of who I am.
Yeah.
I'm just that guy.
A romance guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of come across that way. All Kevins are very romantic. And so she didn't get what she got like a chicken nuggets or whatever, chicken strips or whatever. I got the pork tenderloin sandwich. It was fantastic. It was delicious. And so now I have a go-to place. And by the way, as I tweeted out, it's burning up the internet. People, well, yeah, sort of, at inforum.com. People love it. It's summer. We were just talking about this before we came on the air. It's June. People don't want seriousness. They want pork tenderloin sandwiches and Minnesota Lakes country. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I will say it looks fire. But what makes like a great pork tenderloin sandwich.
Has to be pounded correctly to get it nice and thin. This one's a little bit thick, but that's okay.
Mhm.
And then it just has to be deep fried. And the tenderloin is juicy and tender and delicious. Now, some people, heathens and communists, put ketchup on pork tenderloin sandwich. Right? Yes. Thank you.
I hate ketchup. Cannot even smell it. Don't know why. I just don't like ketchup.
No, it's not good.
Yeah,
it's overrated as a condiment. The worst condiment. But
yes. I will die on that hill with you.
Yeah, I mean,
terrible condiment.
Hot sauce, fantastic.
Yep.
Mustard, fantastic.
Yep. Dijon mustard.
Chipotle, Dijon, spicy brown mustard, even better.
That?
Dijon?
No.
Dijon?
No, the C one that you said.
I don't know. What did I say?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Go ahead. Anyways, sorry.
Sorry. You lost my train of condiment thought now, but that's okay.
Ranch, is ranch a condiment?
Ranch has overdone though, right? I mean, ranch.
People here put ranch on like everything.
Yes,
I have noticed.
Yeah, that's not good.
If I'm not a big sauce person or condiment person, but if I'm gonna do one, be mustard, hot sauce. I put a hot sauce on everything.
Yep, right. And there's a huge variety of hot sauces now, right? You can get whatever.
But there are wrong hot sauces to put on certain foods.
For example,
sriracha can only put on Asian food.
Oh.
Have you ever had that?
Yes, I have a bottle of.
I don't know.
Come on.
People don't like
I'm
spicy
big into
here.
pork tenderloin sandwiches.
People don't
Why would I not have sriracha in my refrigerator?
People don't like spicy here.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, so I don't know.
We like gravy, though.
I love gravy.
Everybody loves gravy.
It's hard to not like gravy.
Except my wife and daughter, which is odd, but that's, yeah.
They don't like gravy?
No, they're not gravy people. No.
All right, that's enough food talk for today.
Why?
Why what?
Why stop talking about food?
We
it's way more interesting than anything else we're going to talk about.
I get so self-conscious because one time I was doing hot mic and I was talking about food, and I got this email from someone saying, "Stop talking about food. I don't care." And I said, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Don't worry about what they say about you. Doesn't matter.
Trust me, I get.
I can't even.
Worse things have been said to me.
Can't even imagine. I don't even want to imagine.
I want to ask you about this though, because this has just been, I feel like we've been waiting for the official commitment of Grant Nelson. So news came out last week that he was going to Alabama. Then we had sources tell all of us that's not official yet.
Correct.
What's the latest you've heard about Grant?
It has to be something administrative, or it can't. That's what it has to be. I thought for a while that it was maybe they were hung up on NIL numbers or something, and they're negotiating that. I don't know how all that works, but that would seem to be something that would be an issue. But now that it's gone on for, I think, more than a week since the news came out that he had committed, and he could have committed. It's just that that maybe he's not been enrolled yet. I guess it would be the only thing that I can think that's holding it up. I don't know that for sure. I don't know what the story is for sure, but that would seem to be logical to me that there's some sort of hang up on that, because otherwise why would he not commit? Or why would he not say that he's going to Alabama and that he's there?
So do we think, or do we know Alabama is the spot that he's going to? Arkansas is out of the picture?
Yes, I was told, and I think Dom was as well, that it's not official, but it's likely Alabama. So I think he wants to go to Alabama. There's something else that's got to be going on here as to why it would not be officially official. And I don't, to the best of my knowledge, he's not on campus in Tuscaloosa yet, which I think if you are Nate Oates, you want your guys there now practicing, working out, getting to know one another. To the best of my knowledge, I don't believe that he's there. And the reason I say that is because what we've learned through this process is these other big schools, like in the SEC, they really take all this stuff very seriously. And they have bloggers and writers and guys who are like following these guys to the airport.
I saw that.
Richard Davenport, who writes for the Arkansas Gazette-Democrat, I think is the paper in Fayetteville. He was contacting me and telling me that he was going to go to the airport to try to talk to Grant Nelson and get an interview. And so
at the airport?
Yes, because he's got to fly in.
TMZ.
Yeah, I guess we could do that here.
So this
Kolpak and Izzo have hung out at airports before.
I was going to say, this is kind of reminding me of the situation. I think it was with Incarnate Word when you guys were just like stalking their planes, seeing if they're going to make it here because of the blizzard.
Well, but back in the early Division I days, And I think the Craig Bowl coaching change days, I think Izzo and Kolpak were hanging out up at Hector and at the Jet Center looking for planes coming in and out with. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do to get the news. I mean, you're not going to offer anything. So, but I haven't seen anything out of Tuscaloosa from the bloggers or the beat writers that say that Grant Nelson is down there on campus. And he certainly hasn't done any interviews, I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, with anybody from Tuscaloosa saying, here I am, I'm ready to go. So there's something going on there. I don't know when it's going to become officially official. The longer it drags on, though, you kind of got to go, I don't know really what's happening here and why he's not already in.
Yeah, that's a little bit interesting. It's obviously something we'll be following along because that's probably the biggest story that's going to break whenever that does break. Do you think he will officially put out something saying that he is committing?
Somebody will. Again, because it's these big schools that, I mean, Alabama is one of the top, 3 or 4 teams in the country? I mean, that's, it's not just football.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the bloggers, the radio people, the school, somebody will put something out there that it's official that Grant Nelson's enrolled at the University of Alabama.
Do you think that's a good fit for him?
Oh, I think early on, people were asking me, if Grant Nelson decides to pull out of the draft, where might he end up? And you can go back to my Twitter timeline, and I answered, I think Alabama, Arkansas would be 2 likely landing spots for him just because of the style they play. And part of that was information I got from Grant and the people around him saying, Kansas is one thing and Duke is one thing, but just the way they play. Eric Musselman at Arkansas is a former NBA guy. He runs an NBA-style offense. And Grant Nelson wants to go to a place where he is not featured, but where he can show off his skills to the best of his ability and also be successful. I mean, winning games isn't bad either.
Mm-hmm.
And be surrounded by NBA-level talent also would be okay. And so, yeah, I think, with what Nate Oates has done at Tuscaloosa, what Eric Musselman's done in Fayetteville, I think either one would have been fine.
Well, let me ask you this. Based off of what you've seen from Grant at the Combine and just in the Summit League tournament, do you think he will still be this standout player in the SEC that we have seen here?
Oh, I think I don't know that he's going to average 20 points and 10 rebounds, but when you're surrounded by, 3 other guys on the floor that have NBA potential, you're not going to get the ball in your hands on every possession. So I don't think that's what he's looking for. I don't think he's looking to be the guy. I think he's looking, the advantage for Grant being in Alabama or in Arkansas or any place else other than the Summit League is that he is not going to be the focus of every team. If you look back at what he was able to accomplish last year at North Dakota State, they ran the offense through him, right? He would come off the post, he would get the ball in the wing, but there was 3 guys with eyes on him. Mm-hmm. And so every time he would try to make a move, there'd be 2 guys on him immediately, and there'd be more help waiting because he was the guy. He often had to then give it up to Andrew Morgan, Bowden Scunberg, Damari Wheeler-Thomas, whatever. And he kind of got his shots when he made them for himself or off rebounds or off, scrambles. In Tuscaloosa, if a team doubles on him, there's going to be 4 other guys who can score, right? And so you can't do that. And so that's going to free him up. The theory is that's going to free him up more to be able to do the one-on-one stuff, be able to go to the basket, and just use his athletic ability and his length. I love it.
Why are we putting that in quotations?
Because when I was young, he was just height. You were tall and lanky. Now it's length. Now it's, I don't get it, but that's just a whole difference.
A rant for another time.
Well, yeah, somewhere we went from being tall to being lengthy. I don't know what.
Because now you got to factor in the arm
the wingspan.
span.
Yeah, the wingspan, not the arm span.
Whatever.
The
it's
wingspan.
Called. Mine's
the
like literally
7-foot
2
wingspan.
feet.
Yes, mine is
like little T-Rex arms.
Play basketball like this? You walk around like this?
Well, I literally was told in 4th grade, you're probably too short to play basketball. You should think about something else. I was like, okay.
That's mean.
Well, it was true. I was terrible, so. I wasn't terrible.
Mean.
They pulled me up way too early. That's my theory.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, perfect. All right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, McFeely's going to stick around. We'll talk some potential conference realignment.
Oh!
That's after this on Hot Mic on WDY Extra and KSFL.
Leonard Skinnerd with special guest The Cadillac 3, live July 15th at the Red River Valley Fair on the Titan Machinery stage in the all-finished concrete grandstand. It's the 10 best days of summer. Tickets on sale now at redrivervalleyfair.com.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Keep your home's exterior protected with Cedar Creek vinyl siding. This low-maintenance siding withstands the elements and comes in 16 colors. Ready to install. Just $4.99 a piece after rebate. Update your garage door opener with Chamberlain. This chain drive garage door opener comes with built-in Wi-Fi, allowing you to control and monitor your garage door from anywhere. Now, just $129.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
And are you excited for this?
Yes.
We're laughing all the way to the dinner table because nachos are being served.
It's kind of crazy. Gorgeous.
Then, hold on to your buns. Cinnamon rolls are getting a supersized makeover by the Cake Boss.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Plus, Outer Banks star Elizabeth Mitchell.
They were like, do you want to come play a crazy old lady? And I was like, yeah.
Next, Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. For the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The truth is, Parkinson's disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them. Worldwide, over 10 million people are living with Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement. And with so many places to search for information, it can be difficult to know where to begin. The Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Answers for everyone in the fight. We can help you understand the disease, help you find expert care, give you tips for living a better life, share the latest research, help you find local support, and there's a free helpline you can call. Find your answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's. To learn more, please go to parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
The Red River Amateur Championship is coming to you live from the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th. All are invited to the course to watch the tournament in person. Follow your favorite golfers or watch on the big screen in the alley with food and beverages available. Can't make it to the course? Watch live all 3 days on WDAY Extra and streaming at inforum.com. The Red River Amateur Championship live at the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th.
Dan and Shay with special guest Kip Moore, live on July 7th at the Red River Valley Fair on the Titan Machinery stage in the all-finished concrete grandstand. It's the 10 best days of summer. Tickets on sale now at redrivervalleyfair.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Kevin McFeely joining me in the studio.
Whatever,
Is that
Elsie.
better?
Yeah, okay, Elsie.
Is that better?
Whatever. If you want to be Elsie, I can be Kevin. I really don't care.
Let's do it.
Okay, perfect.
Are we going to make that a thing, I guess?
I guess it is.
I guess so.
Yep.
Okay, so conference realignment is always a topic of discussion. But now,
It is.
news broke over the weekend that San Diego State officially wants to leave the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm. Which is no mystery because they have been a team that has been mentioned as a obvious target for the Pac-12 once the Pac-12 loses UCLA and USC. Because obviously San Diego's a great market. San Diego State is not on the same level as USC or UCLA, but it is a school in Southern California, so it brings in that media market. San Diego State has wanted out of the Mountain West for a while because I talked to somebody fairly high level in the Mountain West last year, and they said San Diego State has no interest in going to Logan, Utah, or it'd be Elsie, Utah. They have no interest in going to, Laramie. San Diego State views itself as a bigger place than the Mountain West can offer. So San Diego State badly wants into the Pac-12. The Pac-12 needs a team. So San Diego State apparently jumped the gun here and said, we want to get out, but we want to get out now, but yet we can't get out now because we don't really have a place to go. And so can you work with us to help us not have to pay a huge exit fee? And the Mountain West said, go blank yourself. We're not doing that for you because you're leaving us. So why would we help somebody who's dumping us, right?
Right. Poor planning on their part.
Correct.
Does this get you excited at all, though, for
of course it does. Of course it does, because what does it do? It opens up a spot in the Mountain West potentially. If they would decide to fill that spot, Elsie, who would be a potential team that could go to the Mountain West?
I don't know.
Could it be, I don't know, Texas San Antonio? Maybe. Could it be UTEP? I don't know. Could it be Rice? Maybe. Or
big or
could it be North Dakota State? I don't know. But I'm excited because North Dakota State somehow has to get out of FCS in football, in my opinion. And I've been on this train for 3 years now, almost 4 years now, because what else is there to accomplish in FCS? And with the Missouri Valley Football Conference letting in Murray State and just Indiana State, and it's the future does not, to me, look very bright on the football side of things for North Dakota State, because they've already done everything they can do. When you win 9 championships in 11 years, they went again last year, even though they lost. They've done all the game day stuff. They've had first-round draft picks. It's not arrogance. It's not, that they think they're too good for everybody else, even though they are the best historic team in FCS. It's what's the next step? How do you grow? If you're NDSU football, how do you grow? Or are you just going to stay in one place for the rest of eternity and run on the treadmill as fast as you can, trying to chase something that's out there, the pork tenderloin sandwich that's out there, just out of reach? Or are you going to go someplace else and try to improve and get bigger and better?
I think they need it. I think people need something to get excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is it. Now, do we think that this is a now or never situation for NDSU?
You never say never, but it's certainly with all the conference realignment that's been going on, this would seem to be the window, maybe. Because once things settle down, at some point, everybody's going to be kind of where they want to be. They're going to be getting the money they want. They're going to be getting the location they want. And then it's going to slow down. And so if conference realignment is a thing, and there's going to be another wave based on what the Pac-12 and the Big 12 do here, then this, I'm not going to say never, but I'll put it this way. This is going to be the where the rubber meets the road, to use the cliche. We're going to find out now if North Dakota State is attractive to another conference, whether it's the Mountain West or possibly the American Conference, because Southern Methodist, SMU, is also a potential team that the Pac-12 or the Big 12 might want. So if SMU leaves the AAC, that would open up a spot in that conference as well. And would they be interested maybe to fill a football school and take at least look at North Dakota State? If NDSU doesn't get any looks from either the Mountain West or the AAC, then you just go, well, okay, then it's going to be FCS forever then.
Well, that was going to be my next question. You can't go anywhere until you get that invite.
Correct.
What would make NDSU an attractive program for these conferences to invite?
It's a strong program. The facilities are good. There is a brand awareness there. I mean, it's not obviously at the level of Alabama or Ohio State or maybe even Boise State, but could they be a Boise State? Could they be
maybe
that type of team? I mean, San Diego State is far better known for their basketball program, but they're a mid-major that everybody knows about because of their basketball team. But NDSU football, because of Wentz, because of Lance, because of the championships, because of all that, people know them. Fans also travel well, right?
They do.
I mean,
we saw that in Arizona.
We saw it in Arizona. We see it in Frisco every year.
Yep.
We're going to see it in Murray, Kentucky next year.
I mean, honestly, we could.
I guess. But they travel well. And so if you are a whatever, Logan, if you're Utah State and you say, well, I mean, can we get an extra 5,000 people in our stadium or 3,000 people in our stadium because Bison fans travel well and they want to, if you're New Mexico, I mean, do people want, if you're Boise State, if you're San Jose State, I'd like to go to San Jose, California.
That would be nice.
It's an hour from San Francisco.
In November would be great.
Be great, right? So people, UNLV, they don't draw anybody. And so if you're a Fargo Bison fan, would you want to fly to Vegas for $100 and go hang out in Vegas for a week? Of course you would. And so to me, that's also part of it is the fact that they travel.
What about NDSU's location, though? Do you think that hurts them?
If it's football only, it doesn't matter, right? Because the Mountain West is a plain league anyway. There's one bus trip in the Mountain West. And so if you are Fresno State, what difference does it make whether you fly to Fort Collins, Colorado, or Fargo, North Dakota? You're in and out anyway. You're flying in a day early. You're playing the game. You're flying out that night. It's a plane trip. It doesn't matter. It's 6 games a year. And it would be if you're Fresno State, you're flying to Fargo maximum once every other year. And there's going to be years when you miss them. So to me, if it's football only, then it doesn't matter. If you're talking all the sports, if the Mountain West would say, you know what, we don't want you just for football, we want all the sports, then I don't know if NDSU can afford it. And I don't know if the other schools would want NDSU anyway, because we saw some of that with UND and the Big Sky. UND just couldn't afford it, and nobody wanted to go to Grand Forks with their volleyball team. It's got nothing to do with Grand Forks. It has to do with the location, the distance, right?
Yep. Well, so you're saying now NDSU should make their push. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they are or aren't. It'd be nice if the president or the athletic director, would come out and say, we're ready to go. Come on, somebody, please call us. Here's my phone number, 701-231-1234, whatever it is. Somebody call us. We're ready. We have the $50 million practice facility. We're going to renovate the Fargo Dome here in the next couple of years. We have this, we have that, we have this kind of money. We're ready to go. Somebody call us. I don't know if they're going to do that because they seem to be very conservative about that up in North Fargo, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few months. So we'll see if moves will be made.
Yeah, San Diego State has to go someplace, but they clearly are greasing the tracks to go to the Pac-12. And if that happens, then we're going to find out whether all this talk that I've been trying to stir up the last 4 years has been worth it or not. I don't know that it has.
It all comes back to you. If they make the move, we'll say, oh, McFeely is the reason why.
Obviously. Hello. Yeah. Come on.
Oh, just so humble. All right, McFeely, so great to see you. It's been a while. So.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's been since spring practice, I think, that we've seen each other.
Feels like just yesterday.
I know.
And now we'll be in a month.
We're like 60 days away from the start of the football season.
Be seeing each other every day.
Just sad.
And
not sad to see you. It's just sad.
I was going to say, dang.
It's already June, whatever it is today, 19th, 20th.
20th.
Ridiculous.
Gosh.
I know.
And now I got a new pork tenderloin sandwich to try.
Absolutely.
Be sure to try that before the next time I see you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's great
betcha.
to see you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, NDSU men's basketball newest assistant, Luke Strege, will join me on Hot Mic. You're watching on WDAY Extra and Inform.com.
Now is your chance to win a WDAY Storm Tracker rain gauge, and you can take one home for free. Send your pictures to weather@WDAY.com. Tune to WDAY News for your chance to win, and we'll choose one lucky winner during every newscast Sunday through Saturday this week. Don't miss your chance to take one home for free. Track your weather with the WDAY Storm Tracker rain gauge.
After working as a design consultant for the last 24 years, which involved a lot of heavy lifting, I developed chronic low back pain. Due to my low back pain, I had a hard time even unloading the dishwasher in the morning and just doing the simplest of chores. I called Center for Pain Medicine, and Dr. Ghazi recommended the Intercept procedure. The procedure was outpatient, the recovery was quick, and now I'm 100% pain-free. I even finished decorating my house after putting it off for years.
Hi Fargo, this is Chief Dave Zabalski of the Fargo Police Department, and I'm inviting all of you to our annual Fargo Police Department Community Picnic on Wednesday, June 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. at our new location, Broadway Square in downtown Fargo. Join us for live music, entertainment, fun for all ages. Get to know your officers, even the furry kind, and most importantly, share ideas for how we can continue to improve our community by working together. We hope to see you there on Wednesday, June 21st in Broadway Square.
Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
I've been doing this for a long time. Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
The world is changing. It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand. There's no stigma in coming forward. Please help me stop him.
He's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again.
I promise you, I'll protect you. I'm not gonna stop until we find this guy.
Weekdays at 12 p.m.
There are places, people, and conditions in this world that almost seem beyond hope. But not when Mercy Ships is there. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, normalcy to the deformed, beauty and happiness to the outcast, and joy to the brokenhearted.
And many times, you can almost see the life coming back into them. Can't beat that.
Mercy Ships is the largest floating civilian hospital in the world, staffed with some of the most skilled volunteer medical professionals and crew. Mercy Ships is the reason why hope is now in sight for those who need it most. To learn more, go to mercyships.org today.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms.
Thank you.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to introduce this next guest. He is the newest assistant coach for NDSU men's basketball. Luke Strege is now joining me live on Hot Mic. Luke, thank you so much for giving me some of your time this morning. How are you?
I'm tremendous today. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So this is our first time getting to talk to each other. So I got to ask you, how has your time been in Fargo so far? I know it's only been like a week since you've been here.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. My head is still spinning. I'm married. I have 3 kids, and so they're still home in Missouri trying to sell. We sell 2 houses because my mother moves with us.
Oh,
so
wow.
we're trying to sell 2 houses, buy 2 houses, and then anytime that you get thrown into a new job, you go at it 100 miles an hour. It's all gas, no brakes right now. So we're just trying to fly around, handle as much as I can. But my head is still spinning. But as I go, things will slow down for me. And as soon as I get the family here and just become a little more comfortable, it'll go a lot better.
Right. And a crazy busy off season, trying to sell and move, and with 3 kids and your mom and all your wife.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about where you came from and a little bit about your coaching background.
Yeah, so I came from a junior college in Missouri named Mineral Area College, which is just south of St. Louis. I was the head coach there for 8 years. We turned it into one of the best junior college programs in the entire country. We were 199 and 46 in my 8 years.
Wow.
And then I came before that. I was at Eastern Kentucky University, where I coached an assistant coach here named Joshua Jones. And I coached Jones as a player. He will tell you that he was a better player than I remember. So we will argue about that quite a bit. So I coached Jones there. I was at Eastern Kentucky, and then before that, I was at Quincy University. I was at Towson University, out in Towson, Maryland. I coached at Western Kentucky University and the University of Georgia. So I will be entering my 24th year in college basketball. And we are from south of Milwaukee, so we are from this area of the country. My wife is from Minneapolis, and this was an opportunity for us to bring our kids closer to her family, and that's kind of what we were looking for. We had discussed some places that we would be interested in going to, and we were offered positions every year, and it just didn't fit us. But we had already discussed North Dakota State. So then when this process started and the call came, I was fairly confident this is a place that we wanted to be, because it gives us both. I'm a guy that I want it all. So I want to be competitive. I want to coach at a high level. I want to coach at a really great university and program, but also I want to give my family and children the best life that they can have as well. And we can do that by being close to family. So I think this is a place where we have both sides covered, and we're thrilled to be here. I'm excited, but when we all get here as a unit, the Strege family is here in town, that's when this will really feel, as good as it can be.
Oh, no doubt. And you guys have been all over the place. Tell us a little bit about what this process has been like for you leading up to getting that call.
Yeah. 24 years in college basketball is a long time. I got really lucky when I was young that some people took an opportunity on me and gave me an opportunity, actually. And when a call comes from a new place, first of all, it's exciting. It's almost like going back to my college days in dating. When you meet someone new, you get excited about it, but then, as the process goes on, you see some flaws or something arises. This one was just really, really smooth. Like I said, we'd already kind of discussed some opportunities. There were maybe 4 schools in the country that we would have gone to, and this just happened to be one of those 4. So when that did start, we knew we wanted to be here. We were looking for a place. I told you we have 3 sons. My youngest 2 sons are autistic. So we just can't take them anywhere in the country. We've got to go to a city where there's a decent population, where they may have the therapy and, some help. So, this was a community that when we looked into it, there was some help for them. The schools were decent size. But yet there's a great feeling of community and support here in Fargo that we felt so far as well. So everything just fit for us. It really does come down to fit. When I was a young man, and I'm no longer a young man, but when I was, we could just pick up and go. My wife Christine and I, we would just pick up and go, and I would go interview in this place, and if we got it, by the time I got home, she was boxed up and she would be ready to go. Now there's just so many other factors that come into it. But this one was a fit for us, and that's what we were looking for. And now we're in Fargo, North Dakota. But this past week has been outstanding. The players here are tremendous. There's a great staff. The athletic department is incredibly supportive. And the people in this community are almost unnervingly gracious and kind, and I almost feel like I'm being set up at times.
We call that Fargo
nice. These people are.
Yeah, we call that Fargo nice.
Yeah, so I'm a Midwestern guy, so like that should be something that I'm used to. But I've been gone for a while, and we talk. You're from DC. I've been on the East Coast. I've been in the South, where people are tremendously nice. But boy, people here are just there's something different. So. I walk away from conversations sometimes going like, that was not weird, but man, that was different, and I like it. I like it a lot.
It's a good different, and I think that's what makes Fargo such a special place. And like you said, the sense of community here is unmatched. So definitely a great spot for you and your family. Yeah. When you got that call from Dave Richmond offering you a spot on the team, do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, I was mowing the grass.
Really?
I was out mowing the yard, and which I love to be. I love to be outside. and the phone call came, and I didn't anticipate it. And I think that's what made it fun. I can remember my wife was out. We've got a Great Pyrenees dog who's
Love that.
built like a bison. So I can remember her walking down the street after I got the call with the dog, and I just had my arms in the air, and we were excited. And then a couple seconds later, then reality kicked in, and then you start to think about moving and schools and all these things. But that was a great moment, one that I always remember. I turned the mower off, take the call, and then I can remember Christine and Rusty the dog coming down the road. We were excited. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. And when you're getting started in basketball, you don't control where you go a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't necessarily want to be in Kentucky or whatever. We were thrilled we were, but we would have rather stayed by family. This was an opportunity where we got to go to an area of the country that we wanted to live in and coach basketball. So this was the perfect fit for us.
You said that you've gotten to know some of the players, coaching staff, and just administration up at NDSU.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are your first initial thoughts on the team?
Yeah, so it starts with character here and the culture that Coach Richmond has built, and it's legit. It's real. A lot of people talk about it, but to actually live it and be about it every day is different. So we went through workouts this morning at 6:30, and there are teams that would show up 6:30 and would not go to work like these young men do. So it's tremendous. But it starts with their character. They're great kids to be around every day. I'm excited every time I see them. So it's been really positive, and then the staff is outstanding, and that is something that I've missed. As a head coach the past 8 years, you do have to have some separation between your players and the head coach, because you have to fill this role of disciplinarian at times, or whatever. So I've been an assistant. I've won championships at the Division I level as an assistant. But one of the fun things that you get to do as an assistant is build these relationships with the guys, because you don't have to be the bad cop as often.
Right.
And I'm really enjoying getting to know them really well. And then another thing that I'm really enjoying is having a large support staff, or a number of assistant coaches and a head coach, because when at Mineral Area, there would be usually 2 of us, maybe 3. But just sitting down and being able to bounce ideas and talk to other coaches is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go away from that, admittedly, I was on a little bit of an island by myself. I'm really enjoying being around them. Now I am old compared to them, so they make me feel younger, which I like. But just being able to sit in the office and visit and enjoy it and work with a former player is fun. I got to meet Josh Jones's kids. He's got 2 children. That blew my mind, that one of my former players has kids now, and I got to meet them. So a lot of fun. We're enjoying our time so far. And then, summer at this level is not an off season.
No.
It's still an everyday thing. So we are jumped into it. We were out recruiting last weekend. I flew in late Sunday night. We fly out again Thursday. So I'm here for 3 days. But that's actually great for me, because if I can just keep my head down and continue to work, then I don't miss the family as much, and it will make this time go faster, and then they will get here, and then we'll be back together again. So that's the faster that comes, the better for me.
Definitely, and it's funny you say that, because I was just saying how in sports there's off seasons, but there's literally still no downtime. People just don't see it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some of the players that have already caught your eye within your past week of being here.
Yeah. So I think you start with Bowden, who, would be our oldest player. But a thing that has just amazed me with him is how driven he is. That is a special quality of someone that whatever they do, they attack it. And man, he attacks every task, full speed. That really has inspired me to be great every single time I'm around him, because I know he wants me to push him, and he wants to be pushed to be great. And then, I'm just overall, I'm really impressed with the young players and their development. From what I was able to watch on film, there was a lot of freshmen, and Coach Miller, our strength coach here, I think he's legit. Like, I think he's really, really good, because the physical transformation from their freshman year to sophomore year, or just what I could see on film, has been enormous. So I'm excited for everyone else to see their transformation, because I wasn't around them last year, but I got to see it on film. The young guys, especially the guys that were freshmen last year, a lot of players develop at the fastest rate between their freshman and sophomore year, because they know what to expect now. So then they can prepare for that. And when they come in as a freshman, they think they know, but they have no idea.
No idea.
I'm excited for everybody to see the development. Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to see the development of these young guys as they become sophomores and juniors. And then just the way that they attack a workout, their work ethic, their culture, their character. I'm having a lot of fun being around. I'm laughing a lot.
That's awesome.
I don't know that I've laughed. This sounds sad, but like in the last couple of years, I just, as a head coach, there's times where you, there's a lot of pressure, but also you have to fill a role. I'm just enjoying every single day, smiling, laughing, and just having a lot of fun with them.
They are a great and a fun group to be around. So you definitely got really lucky with that. Luke, tell us a little bit about your coaching philosophy and what you are hoping to bring to this NDSU men's basketball program.
Yeah. My hope is that I fill the gaps. An entire coaching staff is like a giant puzzle, and I just have to be a piece. So, I'm still trying to find those places where I can help. I think what I've done in the past is, number one, where I've been, we've won. Okay, and so I think I can help us find success. But also like, I think if you talk to people about me, I'm an offensive guy. I'm fairly creative. I want to play a little bit differently than a lot of other people. So, I do think that I can benefit us offensively because I know Coach Richmond is a tremendous defensive mind, a tremendous culture guy. But just being able to have a new point of view and bring something new to maybe a staff meeting or to the table that maybe they haven't seen before. And as I become more comfortable here in the couple of weeks, I'm just here to fill the gaps. And whatever's needed to help us win, that's hopefully what I can do. And I think I can do that because I've coached now for so long that I have experience in doing different things. And whatever this staff needs, I think that I can fill in those gaps. I can complete that puzzle, and then we'll win basketball games.
Well, Luke, congratulations on this new job.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we were able to catch up and get to know each other. I'm looking forward to working with you this season.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Definitely. Luke Strege, everyone, the newest assistant men's basketball coach for NDSU. Always appreciate coaches when they give us some of their time. And it was awesome getting to know him. What a great addition to this men's basketball program. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I got a very special guest joining us, but it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. We'll be back with Hot Mike on WDY Extra and KSFL.
Dan and Shay with special guest Kip Moore, live on July 7th at the Red River Valley Fair on the Titan Machinery stage in the all-finished concrete grandstand. It's the 10 best days of summer. Tickets on sale now at redrivervalleyfair.com.
What you've heard about Harry's Steakhouse in downtown Grand Forks is true. A classic steakhouse serving perfectly prepared steaks, seafood, and more. And what's a great steakhouse without great cocktails and wines? Enjoy a step back in time where everything old is new again. See you at Harry's Steakhouse in downtown Grand Forks. Reservations recommended.
When you get invited out by your young friends.
Well, I'm not sure if I would call them friends.
There are kids.
Yeah.
Next live. Move over, Mark. Ryan Seacrest joins Kelly as a guest host with Denai Guerrera.
It's been a while since we saw you here.
I was like, oh, we have got to do this show.
Plus, Linda Cardellini and Louis Tomlinson performs.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. Now is your chance to win a WDAY Storm Tracker rain gauge, and you can take one home for free. Send your pictures to weather@wday.com. Tune to WDAY News for your chance to win, and we'll choose one lucky winner during every newscast Sunday through Saturday this week. Don't miss your chance to take one home for free. Track your weather with the WDAY Storm Tracker rain gauge.
You got lots of money over here.
I want to go for it.
So do I. Let's do it.
You bet your life.
Give me the money. More money. $5,000.
Boosting the economy.
You seriously asking me this question, Jay? Coney Island. What are we doing over here?
Every weekday.
Yeah, give me that money. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it to you like an Italian uncle. Here you go. You get yourself a little something there. There you go, right there.
Weekdays at 3:30 p.m.
Thanks for buying a fishing license.
What the?
I know, but listen. I want you to picture all the great things this simple purchase does. Like building public boat ramps, keeping local waters clean so families can fish and swim, and maintaining a healthy fish population.
What's Mom doing?
It also provides fishing education and activities for the kids, and funds long-term plans to protect our lakes and streams.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Did he?
When you buy a fishing license, you do a lot, because every dollar from a license purchase protects and maintains your local waterways for future generations to enjoy. Learn more at takemefishing.org.
The Red River Amateur Championship is coming to you live from the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th. All are invited to the course to watch the tournament in person. Follow your favorite golfers or watch on the big screen in the alley with food and beverages available. Can't make it to the course? Watch live all 3 days on WDAY Extra and streaming at inforum.com. The Red River Amateur Championship live at the Moorhead Country Club, Friday, June 23rd through Sunday, June 25th.
Third Eye Blind, live on July 8th at the Red River Valley Fair on the Titan Machinery stage in the all-finished concrete grandstand. It's the 10 best days of summer. Tickets on sale now at redrivervalleyfair.com.
Welcome back to Hot Mic. A hot day outside in Fargo. Too hot for me. I hope everyone is having a great start to their Tuesday morning. We just had Luke Strege on, NDSU men's basketball assistant coach. Really nice guy. Excited to see what he can bring to the table for NDSU this season. But now we have just a filler guest.
I mean, that's all I am. You made it out to be a big thing, and I was like, don't do that. It's just, I'm just filler.
Are people going to be disappointed? Okay,
yeah,
so for people
because they were expecting probably somebody like relevant to sports.
No, well, I mean, we'll talk about sports, but for people watching at home, they might be thinking, his voice sounds familiar.
Who is that mystery man?
And yeah, you probably hear him on pretty much every WDY commercial.
Mm-hmm. I'm the commercial guy.
He's the commercial guy.
That's right.
But he also was kind of a big radio deal.
I was
Can
kind of a
that?
big deal.
Kind
it
of.
was a huge deal.
He
was hugest deal.
Fargo Radio ran from Mike Capel.
He ran through me. Yes, and then I decided, it came to me, and then I decided what went on. Yes. And I was in radio for, about 25 years here in Fargo. So
wow.
I most recently on WDAY radio, previously on Q98, which is now doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
And Y94 and FM 105, which also doesn't exist anymore. You see a theme here. A lot of these stations don't exist anymore.
Yeah, what's going to happen to WDAY? Just kidding.
I mean, at some point, it won't exist anymore.
Don't say that.
So I know we have a break, right, in a couple minutes before we can really do anything long.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do before we get to the break is I wanted to challenge you.
Oh gosh. Okay.
To a good off.
A what?
A good off.
What does that mean?
Well, I don't know what you do when the show starts, but when Dom starts the show, he does the good.
Oh,
so do you do that when you start the show?
I haven't done it yet this week.
That's a staple.
I know it is.
Or is that just like a Dom thing and you don't want to take his thing?
No, I've done it once. Every time I've guest hosted, I've done it once, but I haven't done it yet this week.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, so you do try to work it in one time.
We try to work it in at least once.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there, so I guess now's a good time.
Do you accept my challenge?
I accept your challenge.
So do you want to? So do we? How do we decide who goes? Do we flip or what? Do you?
You want to go first?
I can go first. Are you ready?
Okay, wait, but what are we
I gotta
ranking
back
this?
up.
What are we ranking this off of? Length of how long we can hold the good, loudness.
Well, we'll let the guy, the people can't hear, but the guys in our ear, we'll let the two guys. They'll just. I don't know.
Okay. Are we
What the
trying to
criteria
sound
are.
like Dom?
What's that?
Are we trying to sound like Dom while we do this?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing,
All
right?
right.
You want to kind of mimic the
Yeah,
legend,
let's
right?
go.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, you go first.
Me first. All right, here we go.
Warm the vocals up.
All right, here we go. Ready? Good Tuesday morning.
I don't know if I can even follow that. Wow. I thought your face was going to start turning purple for a second.
I could have kept going.
That was a long hold.
I wanted to stop just to feel like give you a chance to feel like you had a shot at it.
I don't know if I can follow that up.
Now's your
That
chance.
was really impressive. You kind of sounded like him a little bit too.
It's a good off. We're not friends right now. This is a good off. This is friend time will come after the break.
Okay.
This is business.
Gotta channel my inner Dom.
I
Don't look at me while I do this.
All right. Not looking. Camera's not on. Nobody can see you.
Okay. I'm literally going to start laughing in the middle of this. Good! I literally can't.
There's no laughing in the good off.
It got a little shaky. Yours won by a mile. One's by a mile.
I'll take the title.
Congratulations.
Thank
You have
you.
won the first
you.
annual good off on
That's
Hot
right.
Mic. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll get down to some serious stuff. Probably not, but we'll try to get down to some serious stuff.
I won't
after
let
this.
you.
Okay. You're watching Hot Mic on WTY Extra and Forum.com.
Hi, Fargo. This is Chief Dave Zabalski of the Fargo Police Department, and I'm inviting all of you to our annual Fargo Police Department Community Picnic on Wednesday, June 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. at our new location, Broadway Square in downtown Fargo. Join us for live music, entertainment, fun for all ages. Get to know your officers, even the furry kind, and most importantly, share ideas for how we can continue to improve our community by working together. We hope to see you there on Wednesday, June 21st in Broadway Square.
Sorry, I'm out sick again. I just can't shake this fever.
Spread by mosquito bites, West Nile virus is found in nearly every state across the country.
Elena had another asthma attack. She's really sad to miss school again.
Asthma, a leading chronic illness among children and youth in the U.S., can often be triggered by allergens from household pests.
Hi, Chief. I finally got a diagnosis. It's Lyme disease. I'll be out for a few days, maybe longer.
Every year, nearly 300,000 people nationwide are diagnosed with Lyme disease, an illness from tick bites.
Coach, I'm at the hospital. I got stung by something and had a bad allergic reaction. I'm not going to make the game.
Stinging insects send more than 500,000 people to the emergency room every year. Don't let pests force you to take a sick day. Learn how to protect yourself and your family at pestworld.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
In this job, you take your eye off it for 1 second. People can die.
Go now! Don't think, just do it.
We're gonna get her out. Here we go.
Hey, slow breath.
I'm a firefighter, and I will always be a firefighter.
Did a great thing today.
It's all because of you.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. and 12:05 a.m.
The end of hunger and poverty starts here. Your gift of an animal from Heifer International can help a family start a small business, creating food and income for education, medicine, and more, all while caring for the earth. At Heifer International, we help small-scale farmers achieve living incomes through economic development and private sector partnerships. We empower communities by creating women's groups, farmers associations, and cooperatives that strengthen social support networks. And we teach sustainable, earth-friendly agriculture that minimizes environmental impact and reduces the carbon footprint. Around the world and right here at home. Heifer International. Learn more at heifer.org.
Welcome back to, what show is this? Hot Mic? I was about to say, welcome back to
Hot
TikTok.
microphone. Welcome. We can make it TikTok.
I was literally about to say, welcome back to TikTok. Because we were just talking about TikTok, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Mike Capel.
I should appear as Hot Mike.
I mean, it would make sense. Your name is Mike.
Yeah. I'm hotter than Mike McFeely. I think we could all agree on that. Was he here today?
He was.
In this
His
very
new
chair?
name is Kevin.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Oh.
He used to be called Kevin, and he looks like a Kevin, so.
He does look like
That's what
like
I'm
a Kevin.
saying.
Oh, him and I worked together for many years on the radio station, and there you go. There you go. That's how I want to be on this show from now on.
Is that what we're going to call you now around the office?
Yes,
Hot Mike.
Hot Mike, yep.
So the reason why I wanted to have Hot Mike on,
Yeah.
Hot Mike, I don't know if I can even say that, is because one time me and Dom, when we do that quiz every Friday,
Yeah.
he asked how many people does it take to run a Bison game, and people were so they like to hear about the behind the scenes part, and you are a big part of the behind the scenes part. So I wanted to have you come on and just talk about what goes into putting on these Bison games that everyone sees on TV, because there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fortunate, and some of the guys running the show right now, I mean, we all work with Stacy Anderson, so here's some pictures of so there's Stacy sitting there with the ugly Nebraska coat on there in the middle. So Stacy is the guy who, and he's been here forever. So he goes way back with NDSU, working on the old football broadcast Division II and everything. But it starts with him. So he laid out the vision for all this when we started doing these broadcasts, and it kind of stems back to the state tournaments that we do. So we've been doing those for many years. That was 10 years, I think we've had that contract now. So it starts well ahead of time.
Yep.
To get things together. And so we have a meeting usually once a week. We kind of do that throughout the year now because we've ended up having so much different stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
you with the GoPro.
Yep. There's Stacy.
Oh, look at Stacy.
I'm used to radio, so I forget that there's the visual part of what we do here. So yeah, we have a meeting and we kind of talk through all the different things that we're going to do, because it involves talking to you. So in the pregame show, for example, because we do 2 shows every Saturday during football season, right? We have the pregame show, Bison Game Day, and then the football broadcast. So 2 totally separate things that we need to talk through. And especially when it comes to Bison Game Day, there's a lot of pre-produced stuff. So you do the Sanford Spotlight. So you have to each week coordinate with a doctor over there and talk to the folks at Sanford and figure out what you're going to do for that. Then obviously there's the coordinating between the 4 of you that host the show. So we kind of discuss some of the points that you guys are going to talk about there. Then you do the Pick'em segment. And so there's a lot of graphics and different things that go along with that. And so we have to make sure our guy, Matt Hopper, who puts the graphics up when you're doing the Pick'em segment, works on that stuff. And then we're having our other guy, Omar, who kind of builds graphics, make sure that we have those things set up, the different elements that we might need. And so just so many different things that go into it. Then we have Justin, who does our replays, and we have to talk with him about making sure we have the video that you guys need. And so that's all just the pre-planning part of it. And then we get to game day. And game days are a long day for all of us. So we all get there usually about 8 in the morning, some of us earlier. And by the time we leave the Dome, so this is just on a home game, so a 2:30 kickoff at the Fargo Dome. And by the time we walk out of there, it's usually 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
It's
so,
late, yeah.
pretty long day. And we get there, get set up for game day. So we get ready for that. And then that starts at 10 o'clock. And so before that, obviously, we have to go out and make sure all the technical stuff is running. And so we put the desk that you guys stand behind out there. And I mean, everything you think of, like there's that monitor on the desk, right? So the monitor has a little laptop behind it. So you got to make sure the laptop's working to run the game day graphic. And so that's setting that up. And then you make sure the microphones are working. And then, of course, you guys come out and get set up. And then there was the great one time where Dom and Kyle both wore a purple suit. So that was a big thing we had to figure out what we're going to do about that.
Yep, that was something.
And then just getting that all set up. And then, of course, you got the discrepancy of you got Kyle, who's an NFL guy. What is he, 6'5"?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got you and Jeff and Dom and trying to just make all that look good on the set and stuff. So working all that out on site. And then it just never fails. You can set things up and test things and make sure everything is working just fine. And 5 minutes before we go on the air, Logan's mic doesn't work. Dom's mic doesn't work. Dom can't hear us. Logan can't hear us. They can't see. There's a monitor. So you guys see a monitor when you're on, so you can kind of see who's on. So, you know, if you're off camera, you can wipe your nose or whatever you might have to do, or cough or whatever. And so something like that generally will fail. And then the other wild card, too, is just the venue you're in. So we're lucky having a place like the Fargo Dome. We're inside, which in the elements here is very handy, although it's kind of a bummer on some of those nice early season days. But as you get later in the year, it's like, oh, I'm so glad we're inside at the Dome. But we're lucky just in that the infrastructure of the Dome is really good. So some venues, they don't have some built-in infrastructure. So some venues run certain wiring that we can plug in at a panel. And then those runs, the cable runs are kind of done for us already. But some venues, when we're on the road in particular, because in the Valley, we play a lot of teams that play in a lot of older stadiums and just don't have the history and the fan base that NDSU do, right? So we're pretty lucky that way. But so those older stadiums, it's like, we don't have any of that stuff. So you're running cables all around these stadiums. And of course, those are outdoor stadiums. So you have to factor in the weather. And a lot of times we set up the night before at these road games. And so you have to, like, do you leave the cameras out? Do you cover them? Do you bring them in? And so you got to kind of deal with some of that stuff. So road game, home game, a lot different depending on how you do it. So lucky to have the Dome like we do. And then, of course, we get through game day. It gets done at 11. And then we have kickoff usually at 2:30. So we're back on the air at 2:20. So in that time, it's like just a long enough window where it's like just a little bit too long, because the one thing that we do in there is have lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And so after you carb up on lunch and then you sit around for an hour and a half, right about before the game starts, everybody's in the trailer kind of like, okay, guys, we got to wake it up
production
here.
We got to put on. Yeah.
Usually by the time everybody gets in, we get a few minutes in, everybody's kind of amped up again and ready to go. But in between that time, we're doing a lot of things. So we're meeting with officials, right? Because we have to talk to the officials. They need to know, for example, we provide them a lot of replay. And so they need to know what camera angles we have. How can we feed it to them? Can we slow things down? Can we give them certain camera angles? So they'll have a lot of questions, the folks from the officiating crew there. I know you guys are busy. You're trying to catch up and talk to Coach Entz a little bit before the game and just kind of pick up information, seeing who's out warming up, right? You pick up a lot just seeing who's on the field. And so we're all kind of trying to keep an eye on that and notice who's out there in the truck while some of that's happening. We're rolling video and testing cameras and making sure everything, because like I said, we set everything up before game day, and just like there's issues, never fails 5 minutes before.
Always
everything
something.
could have worked just fine during game day, and everything's just fine. And then at about 2:15, Dom can't hear us.
It's always something I feel like right before. It's like panic mode. And like, all right, we're good.
So somebody's got to run across the stadium and get up to the press box and see what they can figure out and get on the air. And it's truly a marvel to see, because again, like I said, I come from the radio side. Radio, it's pretty easy. You can do your show from just about anywhere, and you plug in a little unit and you're off and running. You can be on the radio from anywhere. But the amount of people and the amount of technology that's packed into the cameras, the fiber runs, the trailer, then the trailer's got to get that signal back here, and then that signal's it's amazing that any of it works. And that's just and what we do. I mean, on a football game, I think we have a crew of about 20 people, give or take.
I think it was 24, including talent.
Oh, yeah,
26,
including
26.
Oh, yeah, we don't usually count you guys. When
Yeah,
we're
I know.
talking
If we
about
just
stuff.
show up.
So, so you got that many people on it, but then I started to think. I mean, this is us doing an FCS Division I, and again, we're at the higher end in terms of fan interest for FCS programs at NDSU. So I would say what we do is probably a mid-major size broadcast.
Yeah.
This is probably what mid-major schools are doing, and so then I start to think about an NFL broadcast and a top end FBS and the amount of people and work and things that go into that. So that's what kind of blows my mind when I think about that. But yeah, I mean, when you see it every day, it's kind of new to me. I'm only 2 or 3 years into it, and so it's still a marvel to me when I go to work every day and see it when we're doing that stuff. But it's so much fun.
It's so fun. And like you said, yeah, you get those moments of panic, but I think the unknowns heading into each broadcast kind of makes it fun because you got to be fast on your feet, think on your toes.
Right.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite memory, behind the scenes memory from the past 2 years that we've been doing this?
Boy, a favorite memory.
That's kind of a loaded question because there's lots of them. Whether that's not even like state tournaments, NDSU, could be anything. Because those road trips are honestly a lot of fun.
What I think is the most fun, the road trips are a lot of fun because what I like about that, when you're back home, you have all the usual stuff going on. So all of us have different duties that we do here at WDAY. But when you're on the road, everybody's sort of focused on the same thing. You don't have the home distractions or the office distractions. So it's a good time for all of us to get together because for as large of a group that we have and we meet and stuff, and we all kind of share an office space up there, but everybody's always running in a different direction. So it's a lot of fun to just get everybody together. We go out to dinner usually the night before. They always pick a really expensive place, which is great.
So nice. We eat good before.
We like that.
We eat good before we don't eat for the next 3 days.
Yeah. Stacy justifies it, which we're all on board for that. But so it's a lot of fun. You get everybody together, and then game day comes along, and boy, it's a long day. And I got to say though, the people that for the whole group, the people that make it happen are our engineers. Specifically, we have 2 engineers, Chris and Alex. We have other engineers that are working on the trailer and stuff like when it's here. But those are the 2 guys that take it out on the road. And without those 2, it would not work. It would not work. They are fixing stuff, and it gets tense because we're in the middle of the broadcast happening, and something goes horribly bad. And they have to kind of fix it. And everybody's like, are you working on that? Blah, blah, blah. And they're more quiet processing type. So you'll ask them to do something and they're working on it, but they don't always tell you they're working on it. And those 2 guys are amazing, just knowing how everything is patched into the trailer. And it's a lot of technical stuff. I mean, I'm okay with technical things, but it gets to be a lot when they're in there and there's stuff going on. So
it just blows my mind what everyone does to make just what people watch on TV look so simple. Like, it's so complex, and it's just crazy the work that you guys do. I could never do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I would say one of my favorite parts of it, honestly, is there's the commentary that you and Dom and Kyle and Jeff, when he's on at halftime, you're providing and on the air. But then there's the commentary on our internal radios.
I can only imagine what is being said behind our backs.
I share some of what's said about you.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I kind of wish I didn't.
Though.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you, if we could ever sell a feed of that and charge a subscription, we'd make a lot of money.
So
it's very fun.
For those of you watching, everyone has headsets in the trucks,
yes,
so they can communicate back and forth.
The little microphone on it.
Yeah, and just the things that they say are a little out of pocket. It's fun.
It's fun.
No, it's great.
You do have to have because in all of that, it is stressful, and that's part of what makes it fun. But in all of that, you got to try to keep your sense of humor. Got to try to keep your sense. So here's.
Stop. Where did we have this video? Cullen's so in the... That was during the Class B boys basketball tournament, and this was the final leg of March. So March is the craziest month, and we are all just delusional at this point.
That last tournament especially, it's just like, okay, is is this over yet? I mean, but we're a well-oiled machine by then too.
Yeah.
So yeah, my job is on football games. I'm kind of Stacy's assistant, so I sort of am a roam. I can kind of roam around. So if you need something, I can run out and get you whatever you might need, or if something needs done in the truck or whatever. So basketball, I do what Stacy does for a lot of the NDSU basketball games. So I'm the main producer for that. And I really enjoy that. It's a lot of fun. It's fun because you're trying to. The challenge for me early on, and it's still challenging. You have a monitor in front of you that has all these different camera angles in front of it. And what Stacy's always told me, and this happens all the time, he's like, "Don't get caught watching the game." And when he first says that to you, you're thinking, "Well, what do you mean by that?" But yeah, sometimes when you're in the trailer, being that person, you start just watching the game, especially basketball, because in the flow of basketball, you kind of stay on that main shot till there's a whistle or a foul or something. So if there's play where there's no stoppage that goes for a while, you kind of you sort of get in that mode that you've been in your whole life of like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good game. Then a whistle happens and you're kind of sitting there and everybody's sort of looking at you like, yeah, camera 3, do this.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
actually.
so you do sometimes get caught in the truck.
You seriously cannot zone out for a second.
Yeah, no, you can't get caught watching the game. So that it sounds kind of simplistic, but it can be challenging for sure.
Because if I was in the truck, I would forget like I'm supposed to be in charge of what other people see.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're watching TV, and so sometimes you'll have a nice soda and you might have a snack, and you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm not just watching the game right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
But it's fun. I mean, it's really fun when. So what's been the most fun, I think, is when you're watching a game on TV and you see the officials come over to whether it's the sidelines or the table at a basketball game or, a hockey game, they come over to the box, whatever, and you're at home wondering what's going on. Well, now I know because I've been on the other side of it, and you're talking to the officials. And so it's just kind of fun watching that, knowing what it's like to be a fan at home watching it, and then knowing what those conversations with the officials are like on that end has been kind of interesting to me. But
it's like a little secret.
Yeah, but I don't have a specific
memory.
Really, because there's so many. It's so much fun.
There's so many funny moments that still get brought up during our meetings from things that have happened literally even last year. It's crazy. Things that you said to me. I'm not gonna lie. Last year was terrible. Absolutely terrible.
You've come a long way. You've come a long way.
Some of the things you'd say to me after, I'm like, I just wanted to cry. I'm like, I know I was so bad.
Well, now you're making me look like a monster.
No.
I'm Hot Mike, remember?
You're Hot Mike. No.
Mike.
But it's the thing in this industry is you need to be critiqued, and you always would be so helpful. I'm going to say you were probably one of the most helpful people in my development. So you saying stuff like that to me, although I was like, oh, wow, that really sucks. I'm like, I needed to hear it. And I think that's helped us create a great open and honest relationship with each other, which you need with people that you work with.
And it's hard. I mean, I've been on that side hosting morning radio shows and stuff, and we'd have consultants that would, critique us. So sometimes you need that brute honesty, right? Because it's difficult being on the air like you are. And then I'm sure you go watch back. You should, if you don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch back.
It's the worst part of it.
Your sideline hits and stuff. And when you messed up, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not lost on you.
Well, as soon as you're done, you're like, wow, that was either really good or wow, that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
You just know right away.
Yeah. And then sometimes it's hard to know that, I'm going to watch it. And you're watching it and you're just like, so for anybody watching at home, it's kind of cringy when people like us mess up. And we know. You know.
I know.
You're
I don't
even
need
more
a tweet
cringe.
saying, what did you just say? I'm like, I know. I messed up. I know.
You're fully
I get
aware.
my mom texting me, hey, Logue, that wasn't very good. Thanks, Mom. I know.
And that's where I got to give a shout out to Dom, because we bust on Dom a lot around here. But I got to say, when you're producing, so when I'm doing basketball and Dom is doing the play-by-play, the guy is so good at what he does.
Yes.
He's
Very
so good. And because we're talking in his ear while he's trying to talk, our guys in the back are talking to us right now. And it's distracting when you're not used to it. And Dom is so good at just knowing and having a sense and quick conversation. So he's working with Dom. The guy is a top level pro. Lucky to have him calling games.
100%.
He's good.
He's very particular, and he's very good at what he does. So we are very lucky. Mike, this was so fun. Wish we had more time with you.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
come back.
All right, we'll have you
I
on
don't have
next
anything
time.
else to do today.
I got to do this again in a few weeks.
All
We'll
right,
have you
see
on then. All right, we're going to take our last break and get this show all wrapped up right after this.
On the next Tamron Hall, it's the book that's been #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list for almost 2 years and published in 43 languages. It Ends With Us is the powerful story about a woman struggling to end the cycle of abuse from the men in her life. And now author and director Justin Baldoni is set to star alongside Blake Lively, bringing the book to the big screen, and why this message of modern masculinity hits close to home for Justin next Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
I'm Naheem Hines, running back for the Indianapolis Colts and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan, and I'm 12 years old. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
For over 70 years, MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
for clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way,
because your community
is our community.
Federal investigators blame human error for a deadly natural gas explosion.
We all remember where we were that morning.
We could actually see the smoke from our farm here, which is close to 20 miles away.
I started to pull right off the bat. Both tractors just kind of started to spin out, and those are big tractors. So I knew something wasn't right. Out of nowhere, I just heard a big boom. The tile plow ruptured into the pipeline. Once the gas got through the intakes of the tractors is when it ignited. As soon as I heard that boom, I started running as fast as I could. The ground literally started erupting from my feet.
They were highly respected and they were good at what they did. And it was one of those accidents that, when it was done, made people step back and pause. If an accident can happen to them, it can happen to anyone.
Watch the rest of the story at 3secondslater.org. And remember, Farm Safe starts by contacting 811.
You know what? It's not my fault you're like...
What just happened there? All right, we're going to get this show under wraps. Here's what's to watch. The Red Sox and Twins. Twins are in such a huge offensive rut. Hopefully they can snap out of it today. They play at 6:30 tonight on Bally Sports North. Dick Bramer will join us tomorrow to recap the game and figure out what the heck is going on in Minnesota. College World Series continuing on. Dub are both elimination games today. TCU, ORU playing at 1, LSU, Tennessee at 6. Thanks for watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and KSFL.
I'll bet joining Medicare probably isn't on your bucket list. Riding in a balloon, traveling the world, learning the tango, something more like that, right? But now that you need to choose a Medicare plan, even though it might not be exciting, it sure is important. That's why I chose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. Blue Cross is nonprofit, so instead of making shareholders wealthy, they focus on making you and me healthy. You should call or go online to get this free step-by-step guide to Medicare. It can help you understand your Medicare benefits and how Blue Cross gives you more value for your money. 96% of doctors and hospitals in Minnesota are in the Blue Cross network. So just about anywhere you go, you're covered. And just like me, almost half of Minnesota seniors have a Blue Cross Medicare plan. Maybe you're interested in a plan that combines medical and prescription coverage. Well, here's how Blue Cross has you covered there as well.
Blue Cross offers Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drug coverage, $0 primary care doctor visits, and many other benefits. Some plans start at a $0 monthly plan premium. Plus, select plans include $0 copays on insulin and preferred generic medications. Blue Cross Medicare Advantage plans also provide extra perks at no extra cost. From dental, hearing, and vision benefits to Silver Sneakers fitness memberships, and even benefits for over-the-counter medications. To learn more about why Blue Cross is the best choice, call or go online now for your free copy of this informative step-by-step guide to Medicare. There's absolutely no obligation.
Blue Cross has been offering Medicare plans since 1965, when Medicare first started. They're all about keeping folks like you and me healthy, so we can keep doing things we like. Or tackle things from our bucket list.
Call or go online now. You and Blue, better together.
Happy Tuesday. Live look outside in downtown Fargo, or not downtown Fargo. I guess we're looking across the river into Moorhead here this morning. A lot of sunshine. It is hot, hot, hot. We still have that gusty breeze once again today. Out of the south-southeast, 20 to 30, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. And then we have storm chances coming up in the forecast. And if you're wondering, are these the same three headlines as yesterday? Yes, they are, and that is intentional, as we're just pretty much having a repeat Tuesday than what we had yesterday for your Monday. It's all coming up on WDUI News at 11 that starts right now.